What's up, everybody? It's been a while since I did a video. I've got two jobs that have kind of coincided. I always have these jobs, but they're coming together at the same time, so I'm like getting very little sleep with them. But I have a problem with my videos as well. They tend to go on because I like to talk about the subjects I cover, so they tend to go on for like 40 minutes. So what I'm going to try to do is cut it down. This video I hope to have about 5 minutes, and I want to cover the crypto environment and the economic environment. Okay, so in the past I've said that during a liquidity crisis, people need cash. So what they do, they sell their valuable assets in order to turn it into cash. Well, we've seen recently the inflation protection type assets like cryptocurrencies, which are to protect us against fiat currency inflation, and gold and silver, which are to protect us from fiat currency inflation, have been rising. Same thing with oil. I said the best way to make money in a couple of videos back, I said invest as if Satan ruled the world, right? And I've followed that advice, and many of my oil stocks have gone to the roof, right? If you want to go back and watch that video with that title, and it'll give you advice on what I put money in. But again, it's not financial advice. It's just, advice to go do your own education and research. And nothing I talk about is financial advice. It's just to get you started in education and research. So many of the assets that have gone up, like the commodities and the cryptocurrencies, are starting to see downtrends. So I believe we're entering a liquidity crisis. Why do I believe that's the case? Well, in Germany, we had Deutsche Bank fail, right? Or, well, not fail yet, but it's failing. They came out with an announcement that they had higher than expected losses, or lower than expected returns, I should say. And then just a couple days ago, they revised that loss number higher. So they're losing a lot more money due to their derivatives exposure. Now, I talked about that in the past as well. This is just almost like the exact same thing that happened in 2008, where you had liquidity crisis and the banks all started failing, and you had to have banks take over banks, and you had a consolidation, and we lost Washington Mutual, which is it got folded into IndyMac Bank, and then IndyMac Bank got folded into One West Bank over here in California. And, so Washington Mutual doesn't exist anymore, and I believe IndyMac doesn't exist anymore either. We're going to see that same kind of thing. They tried to combine Deutsche Bank with Commerce Bank over in Germany, and that didn't work out. So they'll try to find a way to shove all these derivative losses under the rug and make Deutsche Bank, they're going to scuttle that ship, like I always say. It's like a pirate, right? When the ship starts on fire, and the ship was involved in some kind of major high-profile crime, the pirates would scuttle the ship, right? Or often, if they felt like their team was mutinying, the pirate captain would scuttle the ship, or even the ship would get scuttled by the mutinying party. Whatever the case, the ship has been compromised, and they're scuttling it, right? They're going to burn it and let it sink, okay? And it's going to take the blame to kind of cover up who was in charge at the time. So just keep your eye out for that. There's another thing going down in China. For about a month ago, Baosheng Bank was illiquid, okay, and China's had a liquidity crisis already, where it's hard to get credit. So the banks have been paying like thousands of % of interest just to lend to each other on the Chinese interbank lending rate, and there's a huge liquidity crisis. Well, they had another bank fall recently. What was it called? I think it's called Shinjo Bank. I just read it a couple seconds ago. So it's not fresh. It's fresh in my mind, but it's not committed to memory. But I think it's Shinjo Bank, along with Baosheng Bank, they basically have a bank run where depositors know there's a crisis, so they're pulling money out of the bank at the exact same time that the bank needs that money. And so now they're already paying 1,000% plus to borrow money from other banks due to the interbank lending rate. They're going to pay a lot more. So what do I expect? I expect July to be very interesting in terms of financial crisis. So expect more downside on things. People are going to need cash. Times are getting harder. They got more debt. They're going to have to finance it, or to service that debt, I should say. They're going to have to service that debt financing that they've taken out. And so expect them to sell a lot of things that are valuable, which means it's really, really hard times, right? Really hard times for us if you're trying to invest. If you work hard all day, you're going to have to work again. This is why dollar milkshake theory is something that I subscribe to. It may not work out exactly the way Brent Johnson is talking about, but in the end, it's about the dollar gaining strength because of the liquidity crisis. So most of what Brent Johnson teaches is I'm in agreement with. And I suggest that you look up dollar milkshake theory from Brent Johnson. Peter Schiff doesn't subscribe to that. Peter Schiff just subscribes to he's never in the gray area. He's always either black or white. And right now he's in hyperinflation mode. So he believes gold is the only way to go. Well, I think a period of time, gold is going to sell off for a little bit. So if you buy it the wrong time, it'll sell off. But I do believe it's going to skyrocket eventually. So you may luck out no matter when you buy it. Because right now gold is cheap anyway. So you may luck out and make money even if you buy it at the wrong time. But Bitcoin is something different. If Bitcoin is like, let's say Bitcoin got to $40,000 and you buy it $40,000 and then it crashes to like 2,000 and you buy it, you have to wait for Bitcoin to come back. That's a horrible investment because there's an opportunity cost. Now your money's been tied up in Bitcoin at 40,000. You're waiting for Bitcoin to at least break even at 40,000. But in reality, it never breaks even because inflation's always eating the cash. So if you ever sell out of Bitcoin for dollars, you won't be able to make that increase in the dollar value. All right, I'm already at 6:40, so hopefully I can wind this up real quick before 10 minutes comes down. So 6 minutes, 40 seconds. So like I said, expect a Chinese banking crisis very soon, and it's going to bleed into the rest of the world because we are a globalized world. All the globalists always wanted to hold hands and be inclusive of everybody, but they're going to find out very soon that if somebody decides to jump off a cliff or even trips, slips, and falls off of a cliff, if they're holding your hand, which is what globalism is, it's everybody holding hands and singing songs and being happy. But if they slip, trip, and fall off that cliff, and they're holding onto your hand, you're about to get yanked off of that cliff as well. This is why I really hate globalism. I really hate centralizing everything, making everything connected to one entity, a one world, a one governing body. That makes things very dangerous. I'm finding that out in all the organizations I am a part of, right? I'll give you an example. In one of my organizations, there's one person who controls the website. Okay, that one person is the only person who knows what to do with the website. So, and he's getting up in age. If God forbid he passes away because of old age or he gets into a car accident, our organization is going to have a lot of trouble trying to reset our website or access it or even start a new one because we've centralized all that control into one place. Now, if everybody had access to it and understood what was going on and was able to, do something about it, then that wouldn't be a problem. But this is a problem with centralization. The other issue was I'd created the logo for one of our organizations. I was the only one who had the design, and I started thinking about it. What if I get in a car accident tomorrow? I'm the only one who knows the design specifications for the logo and I've relinquished it to the organization who now owns it. I never took ownership of it because I designed it for the organization, and I want the organization to thrive, so I didn't want it to be something that I benefit from solely. So I gave control to the organization. So I started emailing all the other officers of our organization so that they would have access to the specifications, the size of the logo, the colors of the logo, the design, the specific design, where I had our marketing materials printed and made so that if something were to happen to me, there's no problem. It's decentralized. Everybody else can solve the problem. Now, globalism is centralization. It seems like it's not, but it's centralization because before the world was a bunch of different countries, right? And now they're uniting the world as one under one small governing entity system. They want it to be a system and not a government because if it's a government, you can blame people. And they don't want to get the blame for the evils that they're doing, like the Jeffrey Epstein guy. He's connected with globalism because now you can steal kids from all around the world. And what are you going to do if you take kids from Haiti, for example, and you move them over to the United States? The Haitian people can't get their kids back. Or if you steal people from the United States and you traffic them over to Saudi Arabia maybe, then how are you going to find your kids, your family members, your wife, your daughter, your whoever was kidnapped? It's very difficult to do. So this is the problem with globalism. It centralizes it. At the same time, it's decentralization as well. It does both. It centralizes power, which is very bad. Power and control are centralized. And then it decentralizes the blame for any crimes that may go on, because now there is no real country in charge, right? There's no real government in charge. It's like, who did it? I don't know. And now you got this Jeffrey Epstein guy. Oh, I got another topic, so this is going to get longer, right? Remember the power outage in Manhattan? It was on the 42nd year of the power outage that happened in Manhattan before. It was on related to 42nd Street. Jeffrey Epstein's prison, where he's being held, is on the same street as the power company. He's very closely related to Bill Clinton, who is the 42nd president. It's interesting if you think about these things. And now recently there's a story that came out. Bill Still released a story about Epstein getting roughed up by somebody. Former cop killer who's on death row was in his cell next to Epstein. And when the power went out, he somehow got out of his cell and went into Epstein's cell and roughed him up and thought he was dead. I guess it was dark because the power was out. Guess what happens when the power goes out? The locking mechanisms probably malfunction on the prison cells. The cameras go down. This is globalism again. Now it's decentralized even more. You don't even know who did it. Guess what? This guy on death row probably has some kind of deal with the globalists, right? Hey, I'm on death row. I'm going to die anyway, but hey, give $1 billion to my family. Take care of them, and I'll do whatever you want. Let me see proof that they have the money, and I'll do what you want me to do. Well, they wanted him to kill Epstein, and now they have Epstein on suicide watch because they didn't know what had happened to him. They found him in a fetal position with damage to his neck. So this big guy thought that he broke Jeffrey Epstein's neck, but I guess he didn't. Epstein survived, and Epstein's very scared. The irony of that, guess what? Epstein probably has done that to little kids on his island because he's a pedophile. He's a pedophile ring. He basically has given little kids to high-powered people, and they've abused those kids. And I'm sure he felt really powerful abusing those kids, but now that he got roughed up, he's a little bitch, where he rolled up into a fetal position because he's finding out what it's like to be beat up. Oh, man, the irony in that. This guy pisses me off, but at the same time, he's an asset to us because he has information on all the very bad people that he brought to those islands, including former President Bill Clinton, who was president number 42, right? Related to that whole 42 thing. I think that's kind of odd because 4 plus 2 equals 6, and you have 3 of those organizations. You have President Clinton is 6. You got the 42nd year of the anniversary of the power outage, 6, and it's near 42nd Street, 6. 666, mark of the beast again. So these people are demonic. Globalism is demonic and is always connected to the devil, and pedophilia and abortion, and they're murdering, raping, sacrificing our children. This ties back to the Bible, which talks about Moloch, it's an idol demon to which people were sacrificing their kids. Boy, people, if you don't believe in God, you really need to wake up because there's more than coincidence here. There's a connection that's going on. So with that, I'm at almost at 15 minutes. I'm going to cut this video. If you like the content that I give and I provide and create, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the like button, the thumbs up. And, hit the bell notification so you know the next time I put a video up will be. And most importantly, share it with people that you know can benefit from this information. All right, y'all. If you don't believe any of the information I give you, go out and check it for yourself. This is why I give the disclaimer on investments. I'm not giving you any advice. I'm giving you little keys, little nuggets for you to go out and go, is he right about that? Let's go check. So Baosheng Bank, Xinzhou Bank, bank run in China. Go look those things up. Epstein caught in a fetal position, On Suicide Watch, go look that up. The anniversary of the power outage in Manhattan, go look that up. Go look up Bill Clinton's, what number he's at. Look that up. Look up the locations. Make sure check everything, fact check everything. That's what Democrats love to do anyway. They like to fact check, right? Because they like to lie. They like to lie and hide it behind facts, right? They make it look like it's factual, but it's not. You know, and a lot of times the fact checkers are actually Democrats. So there's a conflict of interest there. You have the bad interest doing all the checking on the bad interest. So how can that work? But anyway, people are starting to find that out more, especially with like Bob Mueller's hearing recently. But I'm going to cut it right there. Love you guys. Godspeed. And I hope to release the next video very soon. Take care. Bye.